Hello, everyone. I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a abbreviated, super impromptu Q&A for the channel subscribers. Let's check in here, make sure my YouTube is going okay, and probably just refresh that anyway. But I did see, I believe Chris P was first. Welcome, welcome. Good job. Chris P, Elijah Brown, welcome. KC Scott, hey. Sarah Torian Clegane, another impromptu stream, and there's a rewatch tonight. Oh, it's a good night. Yep, rewatch is on Netter's network, and I will not be interfering with that, Netter. I made sure that I had plenty of time to do this before your stream, which starts at, I think, 10 p.m. We'll wrap up early enough to make sure that everybody gets to head over there, because I will send everybody over there for your awesome channel and awesome rewatch. Netter's Network, Happy Accidents, I think, Vincent D'Onofrio, another time travel movie that the Pacelli is taking us through. But yeah, I was thinking about doing something tonight because I didn't know if I'd be able to. Honestly, I thought I was supposed to have Alyssa all weekend, last night and tonight. Turns out some random plans got changed or whatever today, so I don't have her tonight. So I had some time, so I figured I would pop in and do a stream. I haven't streamed on a Saturday night for a while, unless it was doing actually a rewatch or something. So figured rather than come in with an actual agenda, I mean, I do have art prepared we can analyze. I do have, we can talk about short story stuff. We can do anything like that. So, whatever you guys want. You have questions, you want to talk writing, you want to talk superheroes, Star Wars, we can do, but we'll just move it along like that. Let's see. Elijah Brown asks, did you enjoy the Blackest Night DC story? I didn't read it. I know. Maybe that's woefully slackerish of me. I don't know, but the premise just didn't really appeal to me, honestly. No, I don't know. It might be a wonderfully written story, and I'm not foundationally opposed to it like I am something like the Snyderverse or something. So I don't mean anything like that. Just the whole universe going. Green Lantern. I mean, I did like some aspects of it. Obviously, you've got Superman as a blue lantern with the hope, and Wonder Woman, is the what was her name? She became this great, wielder of the ring of love or whatever. I don't know. I just I like Green Lantern. I do, and I like Green Lantern stories, but he's never been my main, hero of choice. And I don't know, it just didn't appeal to me. At that point, too, DC was getting a little weird. It was like shortly before New 52, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah, I didn't read it. But you tell me what you thought of it. Let me know if it's something that I do need to go check out for whatever reason. Sartorian Clegane, are we ever going to get more of Blue Wonder's adventures? Yes, you are. Blue Wonder is coming. I'm actually working on a second short story right now. It's going to be fun. You're going to like it, I hope. I don't know what I'll do with it. I mean, I'd like to read it to you guys, because you like the first story. But of course, once you read it and put it out there, it kind of loses its publishability to a lot of people. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But yes, Blue Wonder's coming. If you guys demand it, then I will write something just for you guys. So Big Al is here. Big Al was invited, but Big Al turned me down. Big Al said, nope, he's washing his hair or whatever that means. I don't know. Just no love for the prof. So Crispy says, are you familiar with the actress Kelly Riley? She was in the 2 Sherlock Holmes movies with RDJ and Jude Law, and she's a ginger. I didn't see those movies. Again, not because I don't want to necessarily. I do think they might be kind of fun. I don't know. I'll check them out. But so no, I don't know that actress by name. Is she doing something coming up or something? Is there a reason that I should? But let's see. Daniel Craig, what's your favorite DC storyline? Favorite Marvel story? That's a big question, Daniel Craig. Is it Craig or Craig? Never know how people like to pronounce that form of the word there. Man, I don't know if I could pick a favorite DC storyline. I like a lot of them. I think it'd be easier for me to pick some favorite specific hero storylines. So even that's hard. I can tell you some really good titles. I can tell you some really good, solid stories. Well, I have one right here. This is really good. I tend to go for the stories that are, universe-wide storylines. It's okay. Like the idea of Rebirth was glorious because it was bringing us back, our wonderful universe and stuff like that. But I feel like those usually get a little too convoluted. So I tend to gravitate more towards the stories that are just encapsulated as their own little continuities, like Darwin Cook's New Frontier. In fact, Darwin Cook talks about this in the New Frontier intro. He talks about how he likes to approach comic stories forget about the continuity nonsense. That's all going to change 10 years down the line anyway. Let's just, just try to write a good story and try to make that happen. And that I so appreciate him with that. So yeah, DC New Frontier, Matt Wagner's Trinity. Love this one. This one's good stuff. Don't know if you've ever read this one, but not really continuity necessarily. It's just kind of the initial first meeting of Superman and woman, or at least a telling of it. And I love this. I love this cover too. This is actually one of the covers that I'd set aside to talk about the other night because it's glare light. Sorry. But we have the cover there. So it's Trinity, and we have the three of them standing there. If you can see, they're standing on a building top. So thinking about art, though, what do they look like there? What does their posing, does their blocking, does the composition of this shot, the way they're positioned there, evoke anything in particular? All right, just a question to look to, see if anybody else wants to pick it out or have comments about it before I just lay into it and do the do the analysis of it. Daniel Craig says, I'm not a DC guy, so I haven't read Trinity, but I'll give it a go. It's really good. I recommend it. It's the meeting of the first three, and there's so many good things about it. Matt Wagner's art, it's very stylistic, but I like it. It's stylistic that I can get behind, So and you've got the idea that the three of their one villain per each shows up and starts causing trouble too. And so you've got Ra's al Ghul, I think, for Batman, Athena for Wonder Woman, and Bizarro for Superman. And there's such great, this is the moment that Superman first meets Wonder Woman, in this telling anyway. And, he's taken by her, as he should be. I mean, this is this beautiful, woman who's practically a Greek god, and, but he's not, it's none of this nonsense like, oh, I'm going to have a romantic interest in you or anything like that. I don't, he says, I will always remember my first sight of her. Lois, you're the most compelling woman I've ever met, but this is the most magnificent. And you might think, oh, how could he say that about Lois? I don't think he means anything like that. I think it means the idea that Lois is obviously his love. Lois is the one he wants to spend his life with. But you meet a Greek god, I mean, you got to kind of react, So, but I like the fact that they've got this sort of meeting of minds too, because she's coming there with the American colors and whatnot. He's the truth, justice, and American way. So they have an instant, alliance or allegiance of philosophies and missions and whatnot. Batman, of course. Batman has a great, I know I'm just talking about this forever, but I will show you this one thing. Some people don't like this, and I hear them. I get you, but I like it. I think it's great. Batman has a moment, right? He's met Wonder Woman for the first time, and Superman and Batman actually go to Themyscira for part of this mission, part of this whatever. And Batman's on the island and accidentally, they're looking for Wonder Woman for something on the mission, and he accidentally comes across Wonder Woman bathing. And it's very much like, if you ever heard the story of Artemis and the stag, I forget the young man's name, who happened upon Artemis in the woods one day when she was bathing, and she turned him into a stag so she could kill him as a huntress, because you're not supposed to see the goddess like that kind of thing. He stumbles across her, and it's just in the sight. It's not like a lust. He ends up kissing her, which she punches him for too. But it's not like Batman suddenly lusts after her, or Batman suddenly it's the idea that Batman, stuck in Gotham and thinking on Gotham terms and Gotham levels, he always has to consider the darkness. He has to consider what darkness he's going to be facing. And his encounter with Wonder Woman, every part of the encounter, especially there on Themyscira, shows him that there is beauty in the world. So it's like that iconic feminine has come into his life, not as in the love interest, because I don't believe in the Batman Wonder Woman love interest either, but just as a that iconic feminine and the beauty of the world, that other side of the world, other than the dark, gritty, masculine, life that he knows. So I love that part too. But it's kind of funny too. This is when he kisses her and then she decks him. But anyway, let's get back to this, and I'll get back to the chat. So classic poses, very cool color, classic poses. Yeah, they're the Trinity, but because they're seated on, try to get the glare off of the light. They're standing on the top of a building, but because of the angle that they're standing and the different placements on the building that they're standing, they look like Olympic winners, right? You look like you've got gold, silver, and bronze medals. And that's not necessarily to say that, oh, Superman's the best, and then there's Batman, and then there's one. No, not at all. But I think it's to put them all in that sort of Greek athlete context of sort of the Greek gods, because they're the Trinity. They're of mythology, of the DC mythology. They're the Trinity. I also like the way that Superman's cape, Batman's cape are flying off in the same direction. And Wonder Woman doesn't have a cape, but her hair is flying in the same direction too, telling you that she's got the same heroism as they have, but it's in a different context. The beauty of her hair rather than the cape or something like that. You can just go through it and read it. It's a beautiful image to read before you even get to the story to read. So Matt Wagner did some good. He did the Batman Mad Monk stuff too, which was really quite well. So, all right, I spent a lot of time on that. Let me go see if you have any other questions, because this is a Q&A after all. Elijah Brown says he does recommend Blackest Night. Dead characters come back to life. The living face some dead familiar figures from their past tend to face aspects of themselves. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where Barry comes back at first or something like that too, I believe. Or something like that. They do look like Titans, Wolftown Media. Good job. Yeah, Titans. That's another good, good word for that. Schooner Tuna, what advice would you give aspiring who are trying to write superhero stories? Learn your archetypes, at least for the archetype of the type of story that you want to tell. If you have a character in mind, you definitely need to know, because there's no such thing as just building a brand new 100% in every way new superhero from the ground up. Even before superheroes were created, that was no such thing, because we've had these mythological heroes and mythological gods and stuff like that for so long. So you got to know what type of hero you want, and it's good to know what context in terms of archetypes the character would be in, and you can play with those, and you can do new things within that. You can mix and match the archetypes, or try new things, if it's something that would work. So yeah, you can definitely do new and original spins on things, but yeah, I would say know what kind of character you're creating, know what works best for that character, what doesn't, and then you can get an idea or get a handle on some things you might like to try that hasn't been tried before. So that's my thoughts there. What is the name of this book? Sorry, I came in late. Xgal 08. Yeah, Matt Wagner's Trinity. Trinity, it's called. It's from DC. And it was out, I forgot when this came out, but you can buy it in graphic novel form now. Trade paperback. Really cool stuff. Professor Geek, you read Marvels from Marvel? Yes, Marvels was quite good. That was Alex Ross. Was that Alex Ross's first Marvel? That was really cool. I still wish they would do something like that for DC. They kind of did once, but I'd like them to do something else. But yeah, that was kind of neat, going through the Marvel universe and experiencing it as though it's a mythological universe with all these gods and stuff like that in it. Not gods, but heroes. That was kind of cool. I like that aspect. It was a neat little take, I thought. Yes, Melissa Harris, Lois is Superman's true love. They are made to be together. No nonsense about breaking them up. They are made to have an amazing marriage. That is it. That is it. Yeah. Yeah, Wolftown Media. Love how he gets hypnotized by 1D's femininity. Yeah, I mean, that's a funny way of putting it. But even it's not even like it's not in a way that she has a power over him necessarily, but he just realizes there's more to the world than my dark little corner. I mean, Superman inspires Batman in a certain way like that. But Wonder Woman can bring a beauty, I think, that Superman, isn't going to bring, because he brings something else. So, yes, I know, Big Al, he likes to ship Batman and Wonder Woman, just like in the Justice League. It's crazy. There are some people who you do not tell them that this character is not going to be with this character. There was a woman who wrote fan fiction for Batman and Catwoman. They would end up being married. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm happy with that couple. I think they're a great couple. But I interviewed her once on a podcast that Al was doing as well. And just the way it ended up editing together, I did her interview right after, I think, Al was talking about his dream ship for DC Universe or whatever, and he talked about Batman and Wonder Woman. She was not happy at all that her interview had to follow up such a, what did you call it? Like filthy trash of an idea or comment or something like that. I mean, there are people who, wow, okay. I mean, I don't choose bad for each other at all. I don't mind that they explored that for a moment, in the animated universe or something. Well, what else? Dave Deister, welcome, sir. Great to have you. Xgal 08, I know I'm in the minority, but I like Wonder Woman and Superman. Well, I like the way they did it in, for example, in After the Crisis. So in the John Byrne George Perez era. So John Byrne on Superman and George Perez on Wonder Woman. They have a lot in common. They are the male and female counterparts, to that Paragon archetype. So they and they explored it a little bit. Not in any way. I mean, Superman wasn't married to Lois or anything like that, so it wasn't any way that he was being unfaithful or anything like that. But they kind of explored it a little bit, but then they realized, no, I think we're just drawn to each other because we are so much alike, and clearly they're wonderful teammates, and they end up to be very, very good friends, and that's crucial. But for what the New 52 did to them, trying to make them in some sort of Twilight-esque romance, but some people have, they have their supporters. Let's see here. This is, you guys are on here. Your question. Yep, Petropicelli, this is a surprise. Don't you have daddy duty tonight? Yeah, well, as I said at the beginning of the stream, it was a weird day. Plans got changed randomly at the last minute. So Alyssa is not with me tonight, which is okay. I miss her all the time, but I'll see her tomorrow. And we had a good night last night. So yeah, I happen to be free tonight. So I thought I would just do a quick Q&A before your live stream, before Netter's rewatch. And I told everybody this wraps up in plenty of time for you guys to get over there to Netter's Network for the rewatch. It is at 10, right, Troy? Or if you guys are planning on going a little early, let me know that too, because I am not going to tread upon that in the least. I don't know how much steam I'll have here anyway. It just depends on how many questions people have and whatnot. So yeah, and please drop Netter's channel link too, if you will, Troy, if you're around or can do it, so that people will know that's where the party's moving after this. David Deister says, if you could undo one event in Marvel or DC history, what would you erase and why? That's a good question too, because a lot of bonehead decisions have been made. It might sound too easy, but I think I would just undo Flashpoint, the New 52. I don't mind that what Flashpoint was originally going to try to be. Jeff Johns, when he originally wrote it, was supposed to be working toward an interesting exploration, but it was all going to kind of go back to the universe it was, or shore up that universe even. But Dan DiDio, good old Dan DiDio, got in there and decided, no, we're going to make it a whole retelling of the universe, and we're going to go dark and gritty and blah, blah, blah. Now other people have said, no, there's this, long before that, like go back to Identity Crisis, and that was the thing that killed DC, or even before that, this and that. I hear those arguments. I do. I mean, there were some problems or problematic events that happened before then, but I think that none in my mind compares to what the New 52 did to the DC universe, and it's yet to really recover. Rebirth was on its way to recover from that, but DiDio crashed it back into it. Now he's gone, and who knows what the heck they're doing over there now. It's just a mess. So yeah, as I said, I mean, I made that video one time a long time ago. I said DC Comics are no longer even worth reviewing, and they're not. I stand by that. Not that one, a certain issue or a certain story or book might be released from them that's pretty good, but they're not worth or they're no longer worth or merit like steady interest. Like, oh, what's going on at DC now? What are they going to do next? They've just ran themselves so far into the ground. Or even if something a little good comes from it, okay, you might enjoy it. Like I enjoy that digital Superman title. That's pretty good. I like that. It's really good, actually. That's not hope for the DC universe or anything. They're never going to go back with the people. They're still there. Even after DiDio left, there's still people there that are intent on running it into the ground. So that's just me though. What DC Rebirth story did I like? Superman title by Tomasi and Action Comics by Jurgens. Flawless. If you grab yourself any of the trades, flawless. Super Sons by Tomasi, about Jonathan Kent, as a boy, like 10 years old, Damian Wayne. And I can't stand Damian Wayne. I think he's a terribly conceived character. He's just a brat. He muddies up and annoys me in everything he's in, except for Super Sons. That was the one thing that made me like, oh, okay, I can finally see some of the stuff that everybody talks about. Oh, Damian's great because he's trying to fight the darkness and he wants to be redeemed. And I just never see that. People tell me that, and I open up a comic and he's just being this wretched little piece of garbage. But then in Super Sons, I actually saw that. I actually saw the struggle. I actually saw some of that. And I thought, oh, okay, I like that. So that's a great run. Justice League it didn't really ever do anything under Rebirth. I mean, it was mildly entertaining. Who was on it at first? I forget. He was mainly an artist, but he decided to do some writing. Yeah, whatever. I liked Jessica Cruz and what's his name as the Green Lanterns. That was kind of a neat addition. Scott Snyder took it over and just completely puked his Scott Snyderness all over it, and then it was, yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, there were some good Rebirth titles. Other than that, Titans was great. That was the return of Wally West before Tom King decided to work out his issues with Wally West and nonsense stuff going on. But that was really fun. So like that. Let's see. David Deister, I see a super chat from you. Let me get that. I guess I'm way behind here. All right, let me hit the super chat, David Deister. Thank you very much for $10. Much appreciated, sir. For Marvel, I would erase One More Day, and DC, I would erase New 52. One More Day, definitely. That's the one where they erased the Peter Parker Mary Jane Watson marriage, right? That was ridiculous. That was, and that's Tom Brevoort. I never know how to pronounce his name, but he's a jerk and he needs to go away. He's awful individual. There's nothing good Marvel that I know of whatsoever. He's done everything bad for it. He presided over Cap Nazi. He presided over getting rid of the Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson marriage. And I don't know what these nihilistic editors and writers, what's so wrong with marriage? Let us see our heroes. Let us see them grow up. Let us see them become adults and go through the stages of life. That's part of the pedagogical function of the epic hero. Sorry, pedagogical function of an epic hero is to see them progress through life so they can teach us how to react and interact at each stage of life. Marriage is a big part of that. That's why it's grated on my nerves when Didio was just dead set on killing the Clark and Lois Lane marriage, and yeah, taking away Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson. That's just, and it was so stupidly done too. I mean, to save Aunt May, he'd get rid of his whole marriage. I mean, I'm not saying he would gladly let Aunt May die, but it wasn't earned and merited in any way. And Brevoort had the audacity to tell fans, well, this is your medicine. It may not taste good going down, but it's good for you, so deal with it. How does that man have a job still? I don't know. A1RGR says, I can't name a single good Wonder Woman title. Not as many, because she tends to be a character people play with a bit more than they should. But George Perez's run was almost flawless. The one part that he shouldn't have done, that is really stupid, was that he got rid of the Steve Trevor Wonder Woman romance. And that's just the one part that's kind of glaring. But everything else is just so great. It really is nice. That was great. I have some, I'd actually have a video where I do talk about some different runs and different books about her and whatnot that are pretty good. But you can't go wrong with George Perez. That's a good place to start. Long as Bendis is there. Yeah, Bendis is still there. Even though he's leaving Superman, doesn't matter. They're going to keep all the nonsense he did with them. So undo the DC cinematic universe. Yes. I was thinking comics-wise, but yes, definitely get that nonsense out of there. Definitely. Super Sons, good job. Yeah, Hendricks loves Super Sons. 100% with Dave Deister, Troy. But yeah, I agree. Definitely. Let me make sure I don't miss any questions thrown at me here, that because there's a lot of them coming in, so I might miss some. I apologize, but just going through. Private Eye, Retrospectiva, sorry. What do you think of comic stories about Uncle Scrooge? Carl Banks and Don Rosa stuff. Haven't read a lot of those, but I did. What I've read of the classic Disney comics were actually a lot of fun. Whether it's Scrooge and DuckTales type comics, or the Darkwing Duck comics were awesome too. Darkwing Duck's the man. Listen knows that. Listen, says, what does Darkwing Duck say? And she goes, let's get dangerous. Daniel Craig says, what's a story title somebody recommended to you that you just couldn't understand or maybe didn't even finish? Half the anime titles people throw in my chat. Sorry. Don't unsubscribe. That was a joke. Something that it's rare that I will read something based on someone's recommendation. It has to be recommended to me over and over and over and over again, or from somebody that really truly knows me well, in real life or whatever. Because my time for recreational reading is quite limited. So yeah, that's I'll try to think, and nothing's coming to mind right now, Daniel Craig, but I'll if I can think of something, I will. Simon Baz, that's the other Green Lantern. Thank you, Excal. Casada, yeah, Casada. Adam Post, good to see you, sir. Always happy to have you around. Marvel, where making deals with the devil is just another day for a superhero. Yeah, and that was it. It was Mephisto, right? The deal with the devils that Peter Parker was literally making. It was just a nonsense, awful event. Hello, Netters Network. Glad to have you here with me, too. As always. A1R, G3AR. Yeah, the Lois and Clark. They actually, if I'm remembering correctly, they tried to coordinate the marriage in the comics with the Lois and Clark season where that happened as well. I actually have, might be here somewhere. I don't know. I'd have to dig too much to find it. But I have the wedding album, the Superman Lois Lane wedding. Awesome. And love the art in that. And the whole, from Death of Superman to the wedding, that was a great time in Superman's life too. Some people get all antsy when you say that, but I think it was amazing. So making sure what I'm missing. Wolfden Media. Writers hate marriages because they hate their own marriages. Stop taking your personal issues out on someone's creation. Yeah, and that's the problem. That's what we see when Tom King's the poster boy for that, right? Taking out all of his issues and traumas or whatever. And no. No. Prof, when will you cosplay as Nightwing? Is there anything about me that looks like I should be Nightwing? I'd have to shave the beard. I can't do that. Never been asked Nightwing. I've never cosplayed, actually. Don't know if I'd be a cosplayer. Not really the actor performer type. I like to write it down. Love, collecting pics of other people's cosplay and, seeing all the work they put into it. That's really cool. And let's see. Daniel Craig says, in an early Spider-Man story, May explicitly tells Peter she's prepared to the end and it's natural. Peter going against that is literally slapping out May in the face. I know. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you love your wife, if you're married in a good marriage, if you're married to freaking Mary Jane Watson, and you're going to sacrifice all that so your elderly aunt can maybe have a few more years? No, that's ridiculous. And everybody who defends that story is ridiculous. I'm just going to go ahead and say that flat out. Let's see. Looking for questions as I go through. Yes, Troy, thank you, buddy. If you're enjoying the stream and haven't already, be sure to come join us in the Professor Geek Facebook group. Yeah, that's a place where we keep these conversations going all week long, in between live streams and in between videos that I can post and everything like that. So, yep. I did hear about that, David Deister. Predator and Alien are being published by Marvel. Wasn't Marvel in the process of farming out its own titles to Dark Horse and stuff like that? They just want to ruin? Hey, this is something else that people love. Let's get our fingers onto it and make it all agenda ridden and garbage. That's Marvel. Yeah. Let's see. Absolutely, Shadow Nova Productions. I think Miles Morales' character has a lot of potential, and there has been times when he's been written well, but he's in the hands of current Marvel, and they're going to tokenize the snot out of that. They are, and they have. They've done it. It's ridiculous. It's garbage. It's bad writing. It's just flat out bad writing. Hey, this season of anime is pretty good. Just a joke. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Which superpower do you think still isn't represented properly in the movies? Superpower, that's a good question. Do you mean like special effects wise? They've got flying down, obviously, but what other superpower might they? Is that what you're gonna mean? I don't know. I'm trying to think. They can do invisibility fine. Shape-shifting has been done pretty well. I don't know. Is there a superpower they haven't done well in the movies from a particular character? Even I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't quite understand the question. Clarify, and I'll get back to you. That sounds interesting. Let's see. David Deister, old man Nightwing, played by Professor Geek. I take exception to that, sir. Not that old. Just 40 years old. It's not old. um, let's see. Not even commenting on that one. Wolf 10 Media suggesting I should be Professor Xavier. That's low. Ouch. It's low. Um, Matthew Flynn, I hate the treatment of Optimus Prime in the live action movies. I don't know about the IDW comics. Haven't read much of them. Yeah, they were awful. The movies were awful, and I'm not even a huge Transformers guy, and I know that much. So yeah, yeah. And let's see here. Uh, Wolf 10 Media. Remember the craptastic Ghost Rider movie? How Johnny's dad ended up dead anyways. Who is to say Mephisto won't alter the deal? You're right. You're right. It won't alter it any further. My, I don't read a lot of Marvel, so I don't really know a lot about Mephisto or anything like that. But the one scene that sticks out in my mind all the time was, it was a Black Panther. It was Christopher Knight. I think Christopher Knight's run on Black Panther when he first introduces the character of Agent Ross. Who's played in the movies by what's his name, the guy from The Hobbit. But Agent Ross is there to be his liaison and stuff like that. And at one point I forget how it happened, but they take his pants away so that he won't leave the apartment because his the Black Panther's bodyguards, the women or whatever, something, they don't want him to leave the apartment, so they take his pants so he can't leave. He's just in this random apartment with no pants on, and Mephisto shows up for something for Black Panther, I don't know. And there's this great panel where Mephisto's sitting there and Ross is sitting on the couch next to him. Awkward because this is this big demonic guy. He's like having to host until Black Panther comes back. And he looks up at him in one panel and he says, "They stole my pants." And then he looks back down at him at the other panel. And then Mephisto ends up doing something to him. He's like, "Here, I bestow upon you pants." And Ross is like, "No, I don't want to take the gift from a demon or whatever." And these pants are like, every time he tries to take them off, another pair appears or whatever. It was funny. It was when you got a character out there like Mephisto or something, you do some crazy, creepy things like that with. Let's see. Wow, these are lots of comments. I'm sorry if I'm going behind here, guys. I'm searching. Yes, Private Eye. I did see the OG Clone Wars cartoon. That is really good. Gennady, whatever his name is, who did Samurai Jack. Definitely good. And it actually fills in the gap. I mean, you kind of have to mix and match it with the other Clone Wars series if you want to make it one, but it fills in the gap between Anakin as a Padawan and becoming a Jedi Knight. Because in the Clone Wars, by that time, he's, by Filoni's Clone Wars, he already is a knight. So that does fill in that quite nicely. And even takes it right up to the beginning of episode 3. Tartakovsky, yeah, thank you. So, okay, well, my other window jumped way ahead. So I'm still rolling down, folks. Still looking for those questions. Interesting one. Okay. Laps 237. What do you think the worst thing about Endgame was? The writing and characters and politics were all so bad. The fact that they just quit on the storytelling was such a blow. Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. They really did. The writing just sort of leaned back and it's like, we don't have to try anymore. We did all this work. It'll all just kind of tie itself up. And they just didn't. They stopped caring. And a part of it, too, I think, if you ask me what one thing I really didn't like about it, is how it started to kind of make fun of itself. It was sort of the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of turning its head inward and poking fun at itself. So when they go back in time, I hated the way they handled that. When they go back to the Avengers movie at the end there with Loki, and all of a sudden it just became a big joke. The Hulk was making fun of himself, and that was stupid. That wasn't funny. That was just really disrespectful. I felt insulted as a Marvel fan, honestly. And then, Iron Man talking about Cap, oh, that's America's ass or whatever. Okay, Iron Man might say something like that. But then when Cap fights himself, that's stupid first. I hate that. And then that he makes the comment himself afterwards, that's just completely out of character. It's so, and all it was the writers and directors saying, we don't have to try. People are going to come see this movie. And they're going to think it's a masterpiece, no what. So we can just, throw this thing. And it was cheap. I think it was And people can argue, oh no, it gets to show the growth. No, it doesn't. It's dumb. It really was a cheap ripoff that they didn't even get to defeat the Thanos that did these things to them. And they go and Thor beheads him for all things, which is completely stupid. Horrible arc for Thor. Horrible arc for Thor. Everything they did to him just emasculated the heck out of him. Awful. But that was a ripoff. That's the Thanos that we wanted to see confronted. That's the Thanos that we wanted to know. There's never too far. You can always fix things. In the context of a hero story, that's something you're supposed to know. And then to have them just fight Thanos from the past who comes up and does something. It was just a ripoff in every way. Really great moments. Cap with the hammer, that's awesome. That's awesome. But even the great moments faded with time in my mind in comparison to the awful deconstructions and irreverence that they perpetuated on the film and the characters. Let's see. Yeah, good point, Laps. Yeah, Thanos was such a great character in the Infinity War, and they decided to just stop telling his story. It was such a ripoff that they killed him off really early, unceremoniously. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. As far as superpowers not represented in movies, I'd like to see more dream travel with heroes. Swamp Thing or Sandman would be fun in that respect. Yeah, it makes me think of X-Men Days of Future Past when they would use Kitty Shadowcat for that time travel kind of thing. Is that sort of what it is? Again, not as schooled in Marvel as I am in DC. So, oh, okay. What superhero do I mean is downplayed too much or rarely shown in movies? I don't know. Do you have an answer to that? I mean, you can portray powers in the wrong way. You can make the Flash just way too powerful with his speed. You can make I don't know. I'm trying to think of a power that I'd like to see more of. But I don't know. We've been so inundated with superhero movies that I can't really think of one. But let me know if you have one. Maybe it's just something I'm not considering. Insulting is the word. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Have you heard the popular manga One Piece? I haven't heard of One Piece, no. Heard of One Punch Man, stuff like that, but not One Piece. That's a new one to me. Yeah, excuse me, Derek Pattern. The sign of a decline for any franchise is when you start playing it for laughs. Absolutely. And you a great example there for the classic horror films, Abbott and Costello Meet Wolfman. Yeah, whenever a genre starts to self-satirize itself, you saw this happen with noir. You've seen it happen with westerns. Now it doesn't go away forever. The styles are always there to be played with as a filmmaker might want, and you can always go back. And we've got some great neo noir stories and stuff like that. But yeah, whenever a genre decides to kind of poke fun at itself or pick itself apart, or be self-aware in some degree, that's the beginning of the end. And DC jump started this with their movies when they began with this nonsense garbage line: we don't make superhero movies, we make movies about with superheroes. Or what are you even saying? Shut up. Just shut up and pray that you're half as good as Marvel was doing before they dropped the ball too. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I think the superhero movie wave, it did not have to die at all, because it's so crucial and so part of our psyche, these iconic characters. But the filmmakers and writers just couldn't help themselves. They just couldn't help themselves, and are the ones that have killed it. I don't think it's going to come back in any kind of. Now, obviously, there's some other factors too, with things are going on in the world right now, and the theater's not really opening up and being a thing anymore. But definitely. Let's see. Yes, that's a big part of it too. Wolf Den Media. For Steve to go back with Peggy, no, he belonged with Sharon at that point. You can't just no. That was just like it was just such bad writing. It was glaringly bad writing, and I just blows my mind that people are too stupid to realize that, and they just want to defend it no matter what. Yeah. Yep. 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 I'm surprised that no one has commented on my shirt yet. What the heck is going on with that? Did you guys see this? See this? The sweet one. Right? Right? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. My Diet Dr. Pepper shirt. Lil Sweet sent me this himself because I'm such a big fan. The New Mutant movie. Okay, yeah. So this was made a long time ago. I think it'll be a letdown because Disney controls Fox. I don't know. Has the news been that Disney's going to meddle in it? I've known that. See, I'm not a New Mutants person. I don't know much about that comic at all. So I do know enough to know that the direction they were taking with New Mutants apparently isn't anything like what it was in the comics. But it looked like a cool movie, a cool idea for a movie, something interesting to do with this idea of mutants and everything like that. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting. I like it when you can take a genre like a superhero film, and this is what Marvel was doing all the time. They were pushing it into other genres, so you'd have the heist film with Ant-Man, or the Cold War espionage film with Winter Soldier and so forth. They had different like that. So kind of a horror-ish or suspense-ish genre with New Mutants sounded pretty fun. But I don't know. Is Disney going to meddle in that, or it might not have even been made good the first time? I don't know. I'm not a big Mutants guy from the New Mutants guy from the comics. So let's see here. Leah Plus Size, welcome. Catch up. Don't want to miss stuff. I can't reach everybody's comment, of course, but there's something there. Yeah, Metanui said a lot of MCU characters get their character development undone or rendered pointless at some point or another. Thor, Gamora, for instance. Yeah, and that's, how are they even going to go forward? That stupid 3-year jump is just dumb, and it hurt Spider-Man: Homecoming. Far from what anybody says, it was a weird thing to have to incorporate. And now you've got Asgard on Earth. You've got what is even going on with Gamora? What's going on with Gamora and Quill? No. It's got to the point where I've said this before. I said this after Endgame. I don't care to spend any more time in the universe that has gone through Endgame. The MCU was just golden to me. Hated Captain Marvel, but even her little standalone film wasn't enough to kill me off of the. But after Endgame, I don't care about those. I don't care about the characters that wrapped up the way they wrapped up in Endgame. I don't want to spend time with those characters. I think they're awful, horrible. No thanks. I'm out. So that's why I was just done with Marvel at this point. I don't care about the new shows or anything like that. Not a bit. Let's see. 9:45. Just going to go for a few more minutes and then wrap up to give people time to jump over to Netter's Network for the rewatch. Make sure I'm not stepping on toes here. Pretty sure I'm not, but I want to make sure. There we go. Yep, 10 p.m. Okay, so that's 10 p.m. Good. All right. Let me go ahead and I don't know which number I am. I'm sure I'm not first, but I'll just write the prof is always first. There we go. There's my my flag in the ground, staking my claim over there. Okay. MP says, I didn't even watch Endgame. It's on Disney Plus, and it's occasionally tempts me so far. But yeah, no, I didn't even watch Far From Home. I don't care about it. I loved Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm one of the very few people that actually did. Most people hated that movie, Spider-Man fans anyway. But I thought the movie itself was quite well done. But yeah, I don't care about another Spider-Man movie in this nonsense, especially him being the heir to Tony Stark and everything. That takes it a little too far. I like the kind of father-son thing we were doing at first, but no, thank you. Casey Scott, ever read any Valiant comics? No, people have recommended Valiant comics to me at times, but never really did jump into that. So there's the link for tonight's rewatch. Make sure you check into that. Troy's got it in the comments there. You can copy and paste that over. Happy Accidents. Looks like it's a pretty cool movie. I haven't seen it. I'll be there in the comment section. I'll just be doing some schoolwork and whatnot as I hang out there. So, if you guys like these Q&A streams, I can keep doing these too, occasionally as I can. It's not a problem. It's just a matter they have to be impromptu because I don't have the time to schedule these. But yeah, I figured usually a lot of my content now is either something that I've prepared to present, or we're doing rewatches, or studying the books, or whatever. I do try and look into the chat and everything, but it's not as back and forth. So I like to do some of these if I can and interact with people. But remember that Facebook group, because that's where we can interact a bit more all through the week. So that's fun. All right. I think, pardon me, because I'm bouncing back and forth between StreamYard tab and the YouTube tab, so sometimes the whole thing. MP says it's weird seeing your face now. I haven't watched a stream in a while. I've had my face on stream for a long, long time. It's been back. Well, no, what did I do a face reveal? I don't know. I think it was like from the beginning, honestly. I would do car videos and stuff. I would do when we did the It book study, I was on cam, something like that. Now, the other day was the first stream I did without glasses, and like 3 or 4 people in the comments are like, "Whoa, Clark Kent became Superman." Like, come on, guys. And I wasn't that hideous with glasses. See, seriously. So, and then a couple of that with the other night on the rewatch when my mic went out and everybody was like, "Well, Prof's actually just enjoying the movie," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. So you just want me to shut up and look pretty? That's what people want from my channel. I get it. Okay, fine." Yep. Impy's just been busy, but good to see you around, Impy. Good to see you back. So, yep. I think we'll go ahead and wind it down then, because coming to a natural close, want to give people time to jump over there on Netter's Network. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. But thank you very much for hanging out with me this very impromptu little stream, and hopefully answer some of your questions. We can talk about writing. We can do more art analysis. We can do anything like that next time. But yeah, if you think of anything else, save it for later. We'll talk about it then. But until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you